every species of life, right or not? Do the other species, they don't eat? They do they eat or not? But do they open factories and do they take up jobs? So this is an artificially created problem, not a problem per se. They have their homes or not, where they live. So same with us. We have artificially created. But there are real problems of material existence that Bhagavad Gita focuses on. That is what we are discussing in this chapter. Any one of you, you know what are the eternal problems of human existence? That your institute, your teacher, your consultant, your expert, no one has any solution. Human race is still to find a solution for these problems. But Bhagavad Gita educates us, enlightens us to be able to solve these problems and go beyond. So please give it a thought. Scratch your memory and mind. What are the eternal problems of human existence? Which is there with everyone. And no one has still yet found any solution to it. And there is not one. There are at least 4. In fact, there are 7. I will list down. At least we are a group of 14, 15. Some should think out of the box. That problem exists with all of us. Wait, let them think. You have been coming. So you have some idea. Harinder, this is the right name? What is the eternal problem of material existence? That is there with everyone. How many of us in the human race exist in this planet? 7 billion plus. How much is the count now? 8 billion. 8 billion plus. And as I understand that India has the majority of it, the single largest country. Yeah? It is there with everyone. What is this problem? Which human race has found no solution. And that solution is there in Bhagavad Gita. But still people are not able to apply it. That is why when our founder Acharya, he visited London in 1968, 69, 68 or 69. So the British reporters, they are very proud. So he said, what an Indian person has to do, come here. And he saw that there were so many English followers of an Indian Swami. So they were not able to accept it. So one reporter asked, Swamiji, why have you come here? Why have you come here? Your country is a country of beggars and snake charmers. This is what India was known 50 years before. It is a country of beggars and snake charmers. So Srila Prabhupada said that I have come to give what the British colonial rulers could not bring. You tried to bring all the treasure of India, but the most valuable treasure you could not bring. And that treasure is the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. And I have come to give you home delivery. They were all embarrassed. Why? Because Bhagavad Gita gives solution to all the material problems. There are only 4 material problems. The human race must find the solution to these problems. What is the problem? How will you find solution when you don't know the problem? For the disease to be cured, first it has to be diagnosed. The diagnosis is not done. Is there any possibility of cure? This is what is happening. Only speculation. Without reaching the root of the problem. The first biggest problem is birth. Birth. Just imagine. For at least 9 months, a baby is forced to live within the... Please come little ahead. For those who come can find space. Maybe I don't promise next Saturday, but maybe next to next Saturday, by Dr. Dolamani's effort, we should find the space. Yeah, girls, please come this side. The first biggest problem is birth. That is why you have witnessed any child who takes birth. What is the first activity he does? What does he do? Cries. And how much is the cry? It's a short cry, a small cry. He cries profusely. Why? Because he has experienced such pain. And what has been the duration of pain? At least 9 months. So the scriptures describe that what kind of experience is there in the womb. That experience is very horrifying. Extreme, excruciating pain the Jiva living entity has to experience while he is in the womb. He is in the same place where there is all dirty, abominable things in the uh, stomach of the mother. The stool and urine also pass from there. And if the mother eats something which is spicy, there is biting sensation. And then if there are worms there, those worms, what they do? They bite the child and he is helpless, crying. So the biggest problem, do you have the technology to stop birth? I'm asking all of you big aspiring scientists. Can any scientist come to us and research where he can stop birth? We say birth is natural. And before birth, what we experience? What do we experience? Before to take birth, what one has to do? Die. Simple. Birth will only be there when there is death. Do you find anyone in this world? All false promise. We see that, many rulers before, they wanted their body to be preserved. Because they were thinking that in future there will be some breakthrough so that they can be alive. They can renew their life and become alive. But all those hopes have been belied. And before one dies, and between birth and death, what he experiences is diseases. Diseases. So much suffering. Even if there is some suffering in a small finger. Okay, please make way. Yeah. Just a minute. Just a minute. Just a minute. I'm sorry for the, cramped space. But as I said, just bear with us. We will have a better space to sit with the AC on. Okay? AC must be on. So that we can really acknowledge and detect what actually is the human problem. Because unless and until we detect, there is no possibility of any solution. There will not be any aspiration from within. There will not be any desire from within to resolve it or to solve it. What is required is awakening. For an animal, if you try to train him, how to go beyond birth, is it possible? It is not possible. But human life, if it has not been trained to go beyond birth and death, then it is a complete waste. Because ultimately, this body will meet death. And at the time of death, whatever you have amassed or acquired in this world, it will all be reduced to dust. Can you carry with you? Nothing. Whatever studies you have done, whatever specialization you have done, everything is left here. And as I said, between birth and death, we also experience disease. So much diseases are there. Tell me one thing, with the advancement of medical technologies, diseases have become less or more? So where is the advancement? The suffering has become less or more? Yeah. Maybe we are not physically suffering, but definitely we are mentally suffering every moment. And of course, we also experience old age, which itself is a very, very severe affliction of suffering, because we are completely helpless. So why I give this background? Because this is what we are discussing. This is what Krishna is enlightening Arjuna. We are in the 8th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, which is called the chapter How to Conquer Death. This subject matter cannot be taught anywhere. Have you heard any seminar? How to conquer death? Has there anyone audacity to speak on this subject? This subject can be spoken only by Krishna. He has the power, the potency, and to bestow the living entity to go beyond death. Is this achievement or not? Is there any achievement in this world which is greater than a conquering death? Tell me. But how many are interested? How many are interested? No one. Practically, no one. Why? Because everyone wants to die, helpless. This is what Indian culture was. This is what Indian culture is. To come to the position of being free from the fear of death. Just imagine your life. What will be the quality of life when you have realized that there is no death for you? This is where Bhagavad Gita begins. Bhagavad Gita begins that for the soul there is never death. Why we are in this environment of fear? Because we identify ourselves with body. And we are not able to identify ourselves with soul. So this knowledge is given in Bhagavad Gita. So it is imperative for all of us to access this knowledge, and how this knowledge can be acquired, not by intellectual exercise. This can only be applied by application. When one applies, then this knowledge can be realized. Okay. So we are on the 14th verse. Today I will discuss the 14th verse of the 8th chapter. My online viewers. So we are on the 14th verse of the 8th chapter. I'll give you a short summary of first 13 verses. So far what we have discussed. Bhagavad Gita is presented in the 18 chapters. It has 18 chapters. Although it's a free-flowing conversation between Krishna and Arjuna on the battlefield, but later, for the understanding of all of us, Vyasadeva, he classified the conversation into 18 chapters and gave them a suitable title. So, where Krishna is speaking about which particular subject matter. So, this chapter is entitled Attaining the Supreme. Because if one attains the Supreme, then for him, there is no death. But if one fails to attain the Supreme, then of course he faces death, and after death he is forced to take birth again. So under what conditions and which aspirant can attain the Supreme? So in the 7th chapter, Krishna spoke about those practitioners who are endeavoring to overcome death. In the 29th verse of the 7th chapter, Krishna spoke, Jara Marana Mokshaya Mamashrita Yatantiye. That intelligent persons who are endeavoring for liberation from old age and death. Where do I find such an intelligent person? Can I find anyone in IARI who is endeavoring for liberation from old age and death? Such a awakened soul. First, he has to be on the platform of soul. Or at least he should have this aspiration. So, Jara means old age, and Maran means death, and Mokshaya means that becoming free or liberated from both. And what they do is, Mam Ashrita, they take shelter of me. One may say that one has taken shelter of Krishna, then he has to do nothing. No. Then what Krishna is saying? Yatanti. Yatana. Yatana means to make labor or endeavor. So such persons, they can know the eternal. They Brahmatat Vidhu Krishnam. They are actually Brahman. Why? Brahman means that which is eternal. What is eternal? The soul. And what is temporary? The body. So, because Adhyatma Karma Chakhilam. Adhyatma means which that is spiritual or transcendental. Because they know about the karma means activities. How they can know that they are Brahman? By performing spiritual activities or transcendental activities. So Arjuna inquired that what are these terms and how to come to that level, to that platform, that one can become deathless, how he can be deathless. So Krishna gave a full discourse in these previous verses. So Krishna says that at the time of death, when is one is able to remember me. You have seen in Indian culture, at the last moment when the person dies, what do they say? What do they cry? Ram Nam Satya. They will never ever think of Ram during their life. But at the end of the life, when the life is gone, it is lifeless. Then what they will say? Ram Ram Satya. So, but who is actually able to remember Krishna? So Krishna says, so then for him there is the possibility that he can achieve the transcendental position. But who can remember him? Can everyone remember him? No. Who can remember him? One who has practiced throughout his life. If you have to become a PhD, so what do you have to do? In all the years that you are here studying in PhD, you must attend your classes, you must know your course, and you must take your exams. Then only you will get PhD. If someone drops in from somewhere and he comes and he thinks that without any practice, without any labor, he can become PhD. Is it possible? He may get a fake degree, but that will not help him. So cheating is not allowed in spiritual spheres. It will not work. It will just not work. Then Krishna spoke about another process. Krishna is parallelly speaking about two processes or two ways. Like, if you have to go to any destination, you have two choices. Either you can go by road, isn't it? Or you can go by air. Supposingly, you have to go from here to Mumbai. You have many choices. You can have railways, you can have roadways, and you can also have the airways. So Krishna is defining all the ways. So here he defined the ways of Yogamishra Bhakti. Those who are yogis, ascetics. So in verse number 9 till 13, what we discussed in the previous classes. So Krishna defined the process of reaching him through the Ashtanga Yoga process. Ashtanga Yoga process means Yam, Niyam, Asan, Pranayam, Pratyahar, Dhyan, Dharana and Samadhi. Are you aware? Most of you may not be aware. But that is a ascetic process. And here how the practitioner has to practice, that details is also mentioned. That you see from verse number 10. One who at the time of death fixes his life hair between the eyebrows and by the strength of yoga with an undeviating mind engages himself in remembering the Supreme Lord in full devotion will certainly attain to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. How easy is it? To fix his life hair between the eyes. It is called the Agya Chakra. Is it easy? Then further he says that persons who are learned in the Vedas, who utter Omkar and who are great sages in the renounced or enter into Brahman, desiring such perfection, one practice celibacy. I shall now briefly explain to you the process by which one may attain salvation. What is that process? He gives the detail that in the 12th verse, the yogic situation is that of detachment from all sense engagements, closing all the door of senses. How many doors do we have in the body? 9. What are the 9 doors? Any idea? What are the 9 doors? 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 nostrils, 1 mouth. How many? How many? 7, and 2 are on the lower side. Yeah. From where you secrete stool and urine. Isn't it? These are 9 openings. So who can shut 9 openings? Can you shut openings? If you close your hand, can you see? You cannot see. So here's the closing all the doors of the senses and fixing the mind. What it means that from these openings, from these doors, we do not allow the senses to engage in sense objects. Is it possible? No, very difficult. So closing all the doors of the senses and fixing the mind on the heart and the life where at the top of his head, one establishes himself in yoga. And after being situated in this position, the practitioner, he vibrates the sacred syllable Om. And one thinks of the Supreme Personality and quits his body, he will certainly reach the spiritual planets. So this is a very intricate and very ascetic process. Ascetic, you understand? Very difficult. Very, very difficult. So after having explained this, so Arjuna is saying, I don't accept this process. I mean, for me to subscribe and follow this process is not possible. So you give me some easy process. Like you coming here. You want to get the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita in such a way so that it is easily accessible. Then that is the purpose of my coming. And you sitting here and receiving. So that in an easy way, in a practical way, this knowledge can be transferred. So Arjuna is asking, this is the most difficult way. So give me some easy way, some practical way where I can achieve the highest result. What is the highest result? Conquering death. But I don't have to go through this difficult process. So very important for all of us. So what is the easy process of conquering death? Are you interested? How many of you are genuinely interested? Please raise your hand. Others are not interested. Okay, that's here. So we'll recite the verse. This is the 14th verse. You have Bhagavad Gita book with you. If 2 of you are there, you can share also. Yeah. This is 8th chapter, 14th verse. Just see to it that they are on the same verse in the same page. Okay. Very beautiful verse. So here Krishna will speak about the pure devotional service. Previously, Krishna was speaking about the path which is imbued with yoga. Yoga means ascetic process. Now he will speak about the process which is easier, which is devotional process. Ananyacheta satatam.
Ananyachetah satatam.
Yo mam smrati nityasha.
Yo mam smrati nityasa.
Tasyaham sulabha partha.
Tasyaham sulabha partha.
Nityayuktasya yogina.
Nityayuktasya yogina.
One more time, everyone. Please hear attentively and recite. Ananyacheta satatam.
Ananyachetah satatam.
Yo mam smrati nityasha.
Yo mam smrati nityasa.
Tasyaham sulabha partha.
Tasyaham sulabha partha.
Nityayuktasya yogina.
Nityayuktasya yogina.
Recite. Recite. Ananyacheta satatam. Yo mam smrati nityasha. Tasyaham sulabha partha. Nityayuktasya yogina. Boys.
Ananyachetah satatam. Yo mam smrati nityasa. तस्याहं सुलभपार्था
Partha
नित्ययुक्तस्य योगिना
No? Girls, next. Ananyacheta satatam yo mam smrati nityasha tasyaham sulabha partha nityayuktasya yogina. Boys, Hare Krishna, welcome sir. We have between us Professor Muralidharan. Thank you, welcome. Madam is unable to come? Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for coming and encouraging us. Okay, boys, next. Go ahead. There is no mark deduction here. Ananya Cheta Satatam Yo Mam Smrati Nityasha Tasyaham Sulabha Partha
नित्ययुक्तस्य योगिना.
Good, very good. Simple. See, in Kali Yuga, although it is full of fault, but Kali Yuga has very empowered one aspect, and that is in association. If we practice anything spiritual, what it becomes? Sulabha. Sulabha means easy. The hardness or the difficult part is it is completely eliminated. Okay, one more time. Any of you, those who have not recited. Anancheta satatam yo mam smrati nityasha tasyaham sulabha partha nityayuktasya yogina. Word. Recite. One chance, last chance for the boys.
Ananyacheta satatam
Yo mam smrati nityasha tasyaham sulabha partha nityayuktasya yogina. Okay, so we'll speak on the verse. So far what Krishna described in the 8th chapter, particularly the verses from 9th till 13th. This is the yoga that on the basis of where is the bulk, where is the strength coming? On the basis of one's practice. What is the practice? Practice is of restraining the mind and senses from the sense objects. It is a very difficult process. So Arjuna wanted something easy, which is possible for him to practice. So Krishna is giving the easy process. So the first word that he says is Ananya Chetaha. Cheta means one's consciousness. Or what is the consciousness? Where our mind is. So where is our mind? Our mind is everywhere. It is just floating and flickering in all places. What is the nature of mind? Chanchalahi Mana Krishna. It is always flickering. So, but that practitioner whose mind does not flicker or waver. So his mind is fixed without deviation of the mind. Ananya Cheta is the first thing. For all the processes of yoga, one thing is common. And what is the common feature of all the practices of yoga? Is to subdue the mind. Yoga means controlling the mind. How to control the mind? Mind is the one who controls us, right or wrong? As soon as you try to control the mind, what happens? There is a disaster. There is a catastrophe. There is a havoc. On the mind plays havoc. So how it has to be practiced? Satatam. Ananyata Satatam. Satatam means always. Krishna had given the technique previously. What was the technique in the 6th chapter he explained? Yato yato chalati manas chanchalam asthinam tato tato niyamam etat atmani eva vashat niyat. in the 6th chapter, Krishna gave this 26. Okay. That from wherever the mind wanders due to its flickering and unsteady nature, one must certainly withdraw it and bring it back under the control of the self. So one who's always practicing this, who is Ananya Cheta, means he's always thinking of Krishna. He's not thinking of others. What we are doing, even if we are coming here, if we are seeing the photograph of Radha and Krishna, for a moment we may see Radha and Krishna. But what do we think? Do we also think of Radha and Krishna? Our mind is somewhere else. So Satatam means always. Always means, Satatam means without interval. So Ananya Cheta, Satatam. And Yoma means one whoever. Smarati Nityasha. Smarati means to remember. And the word again Krishna is emphasizing by using the word Nityasha. Satata means always. And Nityasha also means regularly. So what is the difference between Satatam and Nityasha? Why he is using the two adjectives again? Anyone? Satatam means always or constantly. And Nityasha means regularly. That means not without the interval of even a moment. That his mind does not waver even for a moment. He does not think of anyone else. That is Ananya Cheta. So such a practitioner who has come to the stage of constantly thinking of Krishna. Now I will explain what does it mean, constantly thinking of Krishna. This is what Arjuna was thinking. That I will go to the forest and what I will do? I will think of Krishna, meditate and do nothing. And what did Krishna say? This is bogus. He completely rejected the idea. So I will explain what it means to think of Krishna. Or how it means to remember Krishna. Prabhupada will explain that if we purport. So any practitioner who has come to this stage, who is Ananya Cheta, whose mind does not deviate, and he is constantly thinking of the Supreme Lord, and who is remembering Krishna, Supreme Lord, without any interval. For such a practitioner, Krishna says, Tasyaham Sulabha Partha. I am very easy to attain. So the principle we know, whoever attains Krishna, for him there is no death. And again Krishna says, Nitya Yuktasya Yogina. They're very important. He is a yogi. Yogi means he is in constant touch with me. And again he is using the word Nitya and Yuktaha. So he is always connected to me. He is always in my communion. He is never separated from me. So just see the translation. For one who always remembers me without deviation, I am easy to obtain. So Krishna is giving the easy process instead of the process of yoga bale. Yam, niyam, asana, pranayam, dhyan, dharana, and samadhi. The difficult process. What is the easy process? So he will explain here. O son of Partha, because of his constant engagement in devotional service. This is what it means. Satatam and Nityasham. That is because of his constant engagement in devotional service. To remember Krishna means to serve his interest. Like you are in PhD, you are always thinking of becoming a agriculture scientist. So what it means to become an agriculture scientist? You will only think that I will become an agriculture scientist, and will you become? What you have to do? You have to study. You have to practice, isn't it? If you constantly practice, then it is just a matter of time you will become a PhD scientist. Right or wrong? So this is what it says. This is that one who is constantly engaged in devotional service. So I will explain what is devotional service and what it means to remember Krishna. To remember Krishna means to remember Krishna's interest, to remember Krishna's instructions, and to accept them and to apply them. That one is constant in touch with Krishna. So see the purport. This verse specifically describes the final destination attained by the unalloyed devotees who serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead in Bhakti Yoga. Previous verse have mentioned 4 different kind of devotees. So if it is coming from the 7th chapter. So in that 7th chapter, Krishna spoke about 4 types of devotees. Who are there? Remember? Huh? Artha, one who is distressed. Anyone in this world who is not distressed? Who is free from distress? Everyone is distressed. So everyone must seek shelter of Krishna. If he really wants to be free from distress. Otherwise, what will happen? Only the distress will expand. So the distress, and the second is the inquisitive, jigyasu. Those who are inquisitive. Inquisitive means awakening. One who is in slumber, on sleep, on in dreams, he cannot question. He cannot awaken. And those who seek material gains. There are then those who are wanting to get material gains, material comforts, material pleasure. And the jnani, which is the speculative philosopher. So different processes of liberation have also been described. Karma yoga is for whom? For who is wanting material gains. Karmi. So karma yoga is given. Then jnana yoga. Jnana yoga is for whom? No. Speculative philosophy. Jnana yoga. And hatha yoga. So hatha yoga is for those who are seeking liberation through the yoga practice. The principle of this yoga system have some bhakti added. But this verse particularly mentions pure bhakti yoga without any mixture of jnana, karma or hatha. So hatha yoga is also the Ashtanga yoga. You have to be very forcible to control your senses and mind. So as indicated by the word ananya cheta, in pure bhakti yoga, the devotee desires nothing but Krishna. So this is a very highest stage. Because in the lower stage, why we come to Krishna? To fulfill all our desires. We don't desire Krishna. But what we do? We desire from Krishna. Exam time, people start going to the temple. Have you witnessed or not? Why do they go to the temple at the exam time? Please pass me. You have supernatural power. So use that supernatural power so that I can pass. Whatever I study should come in exam. And what I don't study should not come in exam. That is the purpose of going to the temple. So here he is talking about not such a practitioner. He is talking about a practitioner who desires to please the Supreme, who desires to serve the Supreme, who desires to be in one with the interest of the Supreme. Now, he does not have any individual aspirations, his separate aspirations. A pure devotee does not desire promotion to the heavenly planets. Who desires promotion to the heavenly planets? All the karma yogis, isn't it? That is why when you get a death card, you say, someone has passed away in the family. So the person who has passed away, what is the prefix? Swargiya. Who knows whether he is Swargiya or not? But that is the aspiration of the person who has passed also and all his family members. Why do they want to go to Swar? What is the purpose of going to Swar or aspiring to go to Swar? What is the purpose? What they could not enjoy here, they are aspiring to enjoy there. So a pure devotee who is Ananya Cheta and who is Satatam and Nityasha and who is Yogina, he does not desire promotion to heavenly planets, nor does he desire oneness of the Brahma Jyoti. So these are the Gyanis. What they want? They want to be free from all these sufferings of birth, death, old age and disease. So what they are wanting? What they are aspiring? Salvation, moksha. So they want where? They want to merge in the Brahman, in the Brahma Jyoti. But a devotee is neither aspiring heavenly pleasures, the heavenly comforts, nor is he aspiring the salvation. or liberation from material entanglement. A pure devotee does not desire anything. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, the pure devotee is called Nishkama. Kama means desires. And Nishkama means one who is free from desire. So everyone in this world, his motivation, his aspiration is some individual. But those who have really purified themselves, they are free from such desire. Krishna has explained in the 3rd chapter, the greatest enemy of a spiritual practitioner is this kama, his lusty desires. Lusty desire is the reason of the suffering of every individual. So one who has transcended, one who has advanced sufficiently, that means he has become purified. And what is the purification? That he has no material. So he has become, every one of us are sa-kama. Sa means with. And what is kama? Desires. Desires for heavenly planets, to enjoy this world here through our body. Or even is a jnani, his desire is to obtain salvation. That is very rare. That class of men are rarely to be found. That species is extinct. 99.999% is to have worldly pleasures. The one who has gone beyond. So what he has gone beyond? He has gone beyond the kama, desire. He is nishkama. Which means he has no desire for self-interest. Perfect peace belongs to him alone, not to them who strive for personal gain. So this is the key principle of Bhagavad Gita. To the extent we have aspirations to enjoy this world, to that extent one will be forced to suffer. One is not suffering because of anyone else. Many times what we do, we allege and we put someone else responsible for our suffering. The student may be saying, I am not able to complete my PhD. Who is the cause? I don't want to speak. You all know. So whatever. Or this husband may be saying the wife is the cause. The wife may be saying the husband is the cause. And boss may be saying the employee is the cause. The employee may be saying the boss is the cause, or the customer is the cause. So who is the cause? His own material desires. Because whatever you will sow, as you sow, so shall you reap. If you sow the result, what is the result? What is the fruit of the material desire? Material suffering. Yehi samsparshja bhoga dukha yone hi evate. 5.22. Krishna has given this principle in the 5th chapter, 22nd verse. So, but one who has realized this and who has gone beyond, such a person is Nishkam. So, perfect peace belongs to him alone, not those who strive for personal gain, whereas a Gyan Yogi, Karma Yogi, or Hatha Yogi has his own selfish interest. A perfect devotee has no desire other than to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Arjuna had no desire to please Krishna. Krishna wanted this war. So he became charioteer. But when Arjuna asked Krishna to place the chariot between the armies, and Krishna tactically placed the chariot, he did not place it between the armies. Where did he place the chariot? In front of Bhishma and Drona. Isn't it? And what Arjuna saw in the opposing side is Bhishma and Drona. What he said? I don't want to fight. Why? Because I have attachment to them. Then he gave so many reasons. Better for me to die. I will go and beg instead of asking for kingdom. So he was speaking big philosophy. But what was the cause? What was the reason of not fighting? Attachment. 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 So he had his different desires from the desires of Krishna. Why was Krishna instigating Arjuna to fight? What was the purpose? To uproot evil and to establish dharma. But Arjuna had no such interest. Arjuna's interest was not in establishing dharma. What was Arjuna's interest? Arjuna's interest was his own family. That was more important. But Arjuna changed or not? Did the relationship with Drona and Bhishma change? But what changed? Huh? What changed? Arjuna's motivation. So similarly, if we study Bhagavad Gita, what will change? Our perception will change. Our conception will change. And with the change perception and conception, the world will change forever. Otherwise, one can never see the world changing. This is what everyone wants. You heard of a monk? A monk, when he was 20, he wanted to change the world. But when he became 30, he realized he cannot change the world. So he thought, let me change my country. When he became 40, he realized he cannot change the country. Then he thought that let me change my city or my community. When he became 50, he realized he cannot change the community. Then he thought that let me change the surroundings. At 60, he realized he cannot change anyone, but he has to change himself. His life was over. So what changed is the Arjuna's conception. What was Arjuna's conception? That if I kill them, I will be morose. And Krishna explained to them, whether you kill or not, they have to die. The change of body is inevitable. Whether you kill them or not, my element of time will kill them. And you will be inflicted with sin. What is the sin? Not performing your duty. So similarly, for all of us, please remember, this is a fact. If we have come in this human form of life and we are not endeavoring to cross the ocean of birth and death, we will be inflicted with the reaction. What will be the reaction? We will not qualify to come into this human form of life. Because after having come in this human form of life, we did not make any attempt or endeavor to do that. Like all of you are here in IERI. What is your duty? What is your duty? Huh? Study. How many hours you have every day? 24. You please tell me how many of you are utilizing 50% of your time in study? Anyone who can raise his hand? 365 into 12 hours. You find out anyone in IERI? Is there any one person who's 365 into 50%? So what are you doing? What is happening? And they say we don't have time. So what do you do with the time? Where is the time evaporating? This is the deviation of the mind. We cannot even detect it. So if you have come here, and I tell my students that you have been given you have been given the opportunity, but you are being paid also. All of you get stipend, not stipend. What do you get? Scholarships, fellowship or scholarship. You don't pay for it. Who pays? Huh? Not the government pays. The government have their money. The entire citizens pay. Government extracts it back in terms of productivity and yield. Then you are liable to sin or not. The reaction. So in this way, everyone in this world is being afflicted with reaction. And so as we see, because as we have been deviating from our duty, everyone you will see as the time will progress, the suffering will become more. Why the reason of suffering is not performing one's duty. So many times that those who come here in IRI, I tell them you just specifically study your agricultural studies. They will take IAS exam. I've met some of them. I've asked them, for how many years you have been trying? Have you not realized that your potential is not for IAS? Then why have you come here? But their aspiration is to become IAS. Or some try to become IFS. So what is this? A complete confusion, not having any clarity. So what Krishna is saying here from this, that Ananyacheta, become Ananyacheta. Do not be deviated or distracted. The pure devotee is always focused on what the Supreme Lord desires. And he is only attempting to fulfill that desire of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, the Lord says, for anyone who is unflinching devoted to him, he is easy to attain. A pure devotee always engages in devotional service to Krishna in one of his various personal features. So, as we were discussing, is how to remember Krishna is by carrying out his orders. When you carry out the order of a person, then that means you are remembering. Remembering him does not mean that you do nothing and say, I am meditating on him. That is not what is advocated in Bhagavad Gita. Krishna does not recommend it. He says, if you have to remember me, what you have to do? You have to follow my orders, my instructions. And following Krishna's order or instructions is called devotional service. Krishna's followers are called devotees. So what we perform? Devotional service. So to the extent we are performing devotional service, we are in connection with Krishna. Like, I'll give you some simple example. You see this light is coming from this tube light. You have put the tube light here. But how the tube light is giving this illumination or light? Because it is connected with the powerhouse. If the connection with the powerhouse is not, you bring any variety of tube light. Will it work? Can it be illuminated? No. Similarly, those who are performing devotional service, they are always in constant connection with Krishna. How they are in constant connection? By dint of devotional service. So for such people, those who are performing devotional service, it is not that they remember Krishna, it is Krishna who remembers. So Prabhupada is saying a pure devotee always engages in devotional service to Krishna in one of his various personal features. Krishna has various plenary expansions and incarnations such as Rama and Narasimha. And a devotee can choose to fix his mind in loving service to any of these transcendental forms of the Supreme Lord. Such a devotee meets with none of the problems that plague the practitioner of other yogas. Bhakti yoga is very simple and pure and easy to perform. One can begin simply by chanting Hare Krishna. The Lord is so merciful to all, but as we have already explained, he is especially inclined towards those who always serve him without deviation. So once, you know the famous pair of Birbal and Akbar? Akbar always used to question, and Birbal was very intelligent. So this principle, what Krishna is speaking here, Prabhupada is explaining, that the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita also that Samoham Sarva Bhuteshu Na me dvesho asti na priya, that I am equal to all, because he is the Supreme Father. Father is expected to be equal to all the sons and daughters, isn't it? Like sir is there. He is a teacher. He is supposed to be equal to all the students. Whoever comes in his class, he is supposed to give them knowledge equally. But then the next line says, Ye bhajanti tu mam bhaktya. But those who are performing devotional service to me, Mai te teshu chapiham. I am in them and they are in me. How? By connection. So those who are following very well, those who are responding very well. So what is the inclination of the teacher? He is favorably inclined. Yes or no? Those students who do not do any assignment, those who do not come in the class, so is the teacher more favorable to them? No. Right or wrong, sir? Huh? Those who follow become naturally inclined and favorable to them. It seems that it is a favor, but it is not, it is natural. So when Birbal told Akbar that the Supreme Lord is naturally more inclined to his devotees, he said, I don't believe it. Because there, what they follow is Allah and believe. If Allah has no form, then why do you pray? He has no form, then how will he hear? Isn't it? If he has no form, if he has no ear, and if you pray, how will he hear? He has a form. But anyway, their understanding is that he does not have a form. So he said, I don't believe that he is favorable to one and not favorable to two. So he said, okay, I'll prove it. In due course of time, I will prove it. So in the palace of Birbal, I'm making it light so that you can get the point, the principle. So in the big palace of Akbar, when the palace comes, so there is a waterfall. You've seen? When you go to Taj Mahal or you go to any fort, there is a big pond and there are waterfalls. These sprinklers are there. So Akbar had a son, a very dear son, a young son. So Birbal made a clone of it, exactly looking like the son. And he gave one of his servant this instruction that on such time, what you do, you push that clone in the water. And the dress and all was just like the prince. And Birbal came and told Akbar that, my dear sir, your prince has fallen in the water. And he is about to drown. So what happened? Akbar rushed and he himself jumped into the water and brought his son back. But when he brought his son back, it was not the son. It was just the clone. So he said, what kind of, bad joke is this? I wanted to prove this point. You had so many soldiers. You had so many generals. Why did you jump? Want anyone? Save my son. Why did you go? He is also your citizen and everyone else is also a citizen. If somebody else is drowning, will you jump? Or what you will do? You will send your soldiers? What is the difference? Because there is relationship. You have relationship. So similarly, those who are devotees, those who are serving the Supreme Lord, how they are serving? They are making their life in such a way so as to follow the instructions of the Supreme Lord. For him, the Supreme Lord is very favorably inclined. This is what Prabhupada is explaining. That he is specially inclined towards those who always serve him without deviation. The Lord helps us devotees in various ways. Thus, Katha Upanishad, Yam evasya vrite tena labhyas taseva atma viburnute tanusma. One who is fully surrendered and engaged in the emotional service of the Supreme Lord can understand the Supreme Lord as he is. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita 10.10, Dadami Buddhi Yogantam. The Lord gives such a devotee sufficient intelligence so that ultimately the devotee can attain him in spiritual kingdom. The one who is connected spiritual intelligence so that they can reach him. The special qualification of a pure devotee is that he is always thinking of Krishna without deviation, without feeling that he works. So always thinking of Krishna means always performing devotional service. Yogina and Nityasha. Satatam and Nityasha. And Yuktasya. So there should be no impediment. He should be able to carry out his service anywhere and anytime. We see in the life of our founder Acharya, Srila Prabhupada. I don't know how many of you know about ISKCON, International Society for Krishna Consciousness. It's a worldwide spiritual organization. And our founder Acharya, Srila Prabhupada, he established ISKCON not in India. He established ISKCON in New York in 1966. And in New York, not import devotees from India. Did he? No. He went and preached to the Americans and inspired them in such a way so that they became devotees. And when in turn he started to preach in India, he imported the devotees from America. This is a fact. And he called them his dancing white elephants. And when the Indians saw the Americans performing devotion, the American ladies wearing saris and putting all tilak, and the American men having saffron robes and clean shaved and with bright sparkling face, they were all embarrassed. That how that our culture, our religion, we have forgotten and they have embraced. So Prabhupada, he was in so much inconvenience when he was preaching in West. You imagine to yourself to become a devotee is so difficult. How to convince other to become a devotee and then to make a foreigner become a devotee who has no clue. It is almost impossible. So how much inconveniences was there for him? How much he had to struggle? How much he had to tolerate? If you will read Prabhupada's biography, many times you will cry. Because such inconvenience he had at the dead of night, where he was staying with a young American, he was drug addict. And in the night he came with drug and he wanted to beat Prabhupada. So Prabhupada had to leave the apartment and came on the road, not knowing where to go. The apartment then he took one apartment alone and he was staying. And he had to give the books, all this Vedic text. So Prabhupada used to speak in dictaphone. And his students used to hear and type. Because if he would have typed, then so many books were not possible in such a short span of time. He used to dictate and record it in the night. Entire night he never slept with life. From 12 in the night till 4 in the morning, every day he was giving dictation. Throughout his life. For us, if we don't sleep one night, our brain stops working. And what happened? His dictaphone and typewriter was stolen in America. America, petty theft is very high. If you go to New York, crime is very high. You will be surprised. But anyway, and he had no resource. But he was dependent on Krishna. So it came, some other young men brought to him. So there were so many impediments. He used to stay with a person. So that person was Dr. Ram Murthy Mishra. He was having this Hatha Yoga. So he gave Prabhupada this place to stay in New York, where his yoga studio was there. But in the yoga studio, bathroom was not there. Imagine. So Prabhupada to take wash, sannyasi is supposed to take bath 3 times a day. He used to go cross the entire lane and go for his residence where he was residing to take bath and to cook. Will you live? If you are given a hostel where there is no bathroom and you are told 1 kilometer distance is the bathroom, will you stay in that place? And he was 70 years old. And in September to February, the entire area is filled with snow. He used to walk on snow. Can we do even one day? Even in this age? Not possible. But he never withdrew. For more than 6 months he did that. So this is Ananya Chaitanya, without deviation, irrespective of how much it is difficult. So it is saying, without deviation and without considering the time or place, there should be no impediment. He should be able to carry out his service anywhere at any time. Some say that a devotee should remain in a holy place like Vrindavan or some holy place or holy town where the Lord lives. But a pure devotee can live anywhere and create the atmosphere of Vrindavan by his devotional service. This is what Srila Prabhupada told. If you go to America now, there are hundreds of temples. Who opened the temple? The Americans under the guidance of Prabhupada. So he is the greatest ambassador of Indian culture. Government of India has honored Prabhupada many times. And Modi ji always used to say, even Atal Bihari Vajpayee used to say that this is the greatest ambassador that we have. He is the ambassador of our Indian culture. So it was Sri Advaita who told Lord Chaitanya, wherever you are, O Lord, there is Vrindavan. As indicated by the word Satatam and Nityasha, which means always, regularly, or every day. So that means if you see, one whose mind is uncontrolled, he cannot practice the same process every day. What the mind says, I want holiday. Holiday means what? It does not want to, isn't it? The entire world is made in such a way that after working for 2 days or 3 days or 5 days or 6 days, one wants a holiday. Devotional service, there is no holiday. Every day is a holy day. The holy day. Why? Because we have the opportunity to serve the Supreme Lord. So regularly or every day, a pure devotee constantly remembers Krishna and meditates upon him. These are qualifications of a pure devotee for whom the Lord is most easily attainable. Bhakti Yoga is a system that the Gita recommends of all the others. Generally, the Bhakti Yogis are engaged in 5 different ways. Shanta Bhakta engaged in devotional service in neutrality. Dasya Bhakta engaged in devotional service as servant. Sakhya Bhakta engaged as a friend. Vatsalya Bhakta engaged as parent. And Madhurya Bhakta engaged as conjugal lover of the Supreme Lord. In any of these ways, the pure devotee is always constantly engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Supreme Lord and cannot forget the Supreme Lord. And so far for him, the Lord is easily attained. A pure devotee cannot forget the Supreme Lord for a moment, and similarly, the Supreme Lord cannot forget his pure devotee for a. This is the great blessings of the Krishna conscious process of chanting the Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I'll give you some more examples, some practical examples. The movement started in India after preaching in America and Europe in late 60s. Prabhupada in 1970s, he started to preach the movement in India. And to preach in India, he depended on his American and European disciples. Because in India, there were no disciples. In India, the movement grew only after seeing the success in America and Europe. When Prabhupada was here all his life, before going to America, no one was hearing. Prabhupada was giving the same message, the same teachings. But no Indian was accepting it. So Prabhupada brought his disciples from America and he established 3 centers, 3 principal centers in early 70s in Mayapur, which is the headquarters, and then in Vrindavan and Mumbai. Prabhupada said, Vrindavan is my home, and Mayapur is my place of worship, and Bombay is my office. So he brought his foreign devotees. And for them to come in India, just imagine how many years back, India? More than 55 years back. What was the infrastructure of India? And so much heat is there. If you travel to the West, I have stayed in Moscow for more than 1 year. The maximum temperature there is 25. If it becomes 30, people become suffocated. For 6 months, there is snow, complete snow from September till March. So if we are to push to stay in a place where there is always snow, how comfortable we will be? And for them to come in this hot tropical climate, so difficult. So Prabhupada started the Delhi temple. And how he started the Delhi temple? Prabhupada had gone on train with his disciples to attend one Gita Sammelan in Amritsar. He was invited. And while he was returning from Amritsar to Mumbai, so he had his foreign American and European disciples with him. And in the midway from Amritsar, the train came and stopped at Delhi station. At that time, there was only one Delhi station, the old Delhi station. Yeah. And one Indian advocate came and met Prabhupada. And he said, Swamiji, you have so many temples all around the world, but you don't have a temple in the capital of India. How is it so? So Prabhupada looked at his disciples and he said, you get down. Which disciples? Not Indian disciples, American disciples. The Prabhupada pushed 5 of his disciples to drop down from the train. And what instruction he gave? He said, you start a temple in Delhi. So they said, where will we go? Whom will we ask? Huh? Where will we stay? So that advocate, Mr. Gupta, who came, he said, don't worry, I will arrange. So you please send your disciples with me. And that Gupta ji brought all these 5 disciples. So 4 of them were men and 1 was Mataji, lady disciple. That lady disciple was husband and wife, Guru Das Prabhu and Yamuna Mataji. So they were both husband and wife, 2, and there were 3, brahmachari like me, who are unmarried celibates. So this Gupta ji took her to the old Delhi part, near the Daryaganj. You have seen lanes inside, by lanes. And they stayed in a place which was unhygienic, completely unhygienic. And this Gupta ji, he had a big store in which at that time, batteries, batteries that we use in torch and so many places. Now we have dispensed with the battery culture. But 30, 40, 50 years back, every place there was this battery, a big battery. So his entire store was filled with dead batteries. And he said, you people are miraculous people. What you can do? You can make these batteries come alive. So he made their life so horrible. All of them got dysentery. Because foreigners, when they come to India, when they drink the tap water, they cannot digest. Have you experienced or not? You don't know. But all the foreigners who come, they don't drink the tap water. Their system cannot sweat. And they had such difficult time. But Prabhupada told them to open the temple and to meet the important people. Yamuna Mataji met Indira Gandhi. And Indira Gandhi was very impressed. Everything is detailed. And Indira Gandhi was very impressed to see an American lady propagating Indian culture. But at that time, then emergency and all, so much things happened. So with that difficulty, these are the devotees who started the Delhi chapter. Now you see so many, we have 20 temples in it. But how it began? It began with the sacrifice of these devotees who had to undergo such difficult situation. They had no place to stay, no resource to get meals, no one known, not even the language known. So this is what it means. Ananya Cheta Satatam. So with their determination and devotional service, now we see in Delhi there are thousands and millions of devotees. So this is the perfect example. So for such people, Krishna says, I am Sulabha. They will attain me and I will never forget. But that is the purpose of human life, is to conquer death. If we have conquered death, then our human life is successful. Otherwise, helplessly dying. And with the death, we are sure to go again into the womb of a mother. That is what Shankaracharya says. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani jathare shayam. Okay, so I'll stop here. I won't even overdose. But I invite from your side, if there is any question, inquiry, or even challenge. And Prabhupada showed by his own example how to conquer death. He left his body in Vrindavan. And you see his last videos. Even so many devotees who have left, they were completely beyond the bodily conception when they left. Just recently, one of my god sister left in Vrindavan. She embraced death because she knew that death is for the body. I am not the body. The Bhagavad Gita is enlightening. And in the next verse, Krishna will speak that what is that Sulabha, how they easily attain me. That is the next verse, 15th verse, that I will discuss next time. Okay? Yes. So now your turn. I have spoken for almost a length of more than 1 hour. Now I want to hear from you. Huh? There are 5 primary and 7 secondary relations with the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord Krishna is so dynamic and flexible that with every living entity, he has a unique relationship. So Shantarasa is neutrality. So neutrality means like even one is in the species which is not human, like his cows. He has relationship with his cows. So the cows are in Shantaras. Even with the trees. So they are in Shantaras. Those who are not actively performing devotional service. Those who are not actively performing. Even in amongst the humans also. So that is from where it begins. Shantaras. Then the next rasa is Dasya-rasa. Dasya-rasa means who is actively engaged in doing service. So he considered the Lord as his master and he considered himself as the subordinate. So there is a lot of reverence and respect. Okay. Like a teacher and student. Okay. Then the higher principle, then the more intimate relationship is of Sakhya. Sakhya means considering the Lord as to be his friend. The intimacy is more. Respect is less, but intimacy is more. Then more intimate is Vatsalya. Vatsalya means considering the Lord to be the parent. There are some devotees who consider Krishna to be their son. Like Laddu Gopal. And then the highest is Madhurya. Considering the Lord to be the lover. Huh? Meera bhai, all the gopis. All the gopis of Vrindavan. Okay. So these are 5 primary. Besides this 5 primary, there are 7 secondary also. Like Bhishma Pitama. He was not in either of these 5. What was his rasa? His rasa was chivalrous. It's called Veera Ras. He was in the opposite side of Krishna. And what he was doing? He was pleasing Krishna by piercing arrows. So that is different. But that kind of relationship is very unique. Okay. Everything is clear. No question asked me. There are 2 aspects. Either the subject matter is completely clear or nothing has been registered. What should I expect? Hare Krishna. Thank you all very much for coming and patiently hearing. But believe me, I can tell you, Bhagavad Gita is the most fascinating book in this entire creation. There is no book which can come anywhere close to the adventure and fascination of Bhagavad Gita, which is the eternal reality. And the benefit that we gain from Bhagavad Gita cannot be compared to any other study. So kindly accept this offer and come and just hear Bhagavad Gita. Thank you very much for coming. Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna online devotees, if you have any question, please ask. Any one of you? You go and serve. Sir. You all help in serving. Yes? Then I am leaving. I didn't see any question or any hand raised from your side. Then I will conclude today's class. Hare Krishna.